just graduate from college and think you found your dream job? Did the recruiter tell you about a bright future, career opportunities, and fast promotion possibilities? What if the reality is the complete opposite? If you have a similar story, send your own experiences to the contact address in the description and let us tell your story in the next video.
It was exactly 3 months ago, a hot Monday morning in August of 2024. The scorching sun of Phoenix, Arizona was burning mercilessly even at 7 in the morning, and I was standing under the massive green and orange logo of Amazonia, waiting to start my first day of work. I was 20 years old, freshly graduated from Arizona State University with a degree in business administration, and my uncreased diploma was still sitting in my bag. Looking around, I could see the massive parking lot where hundreds of cars were parked, the football field-sized metal and concrete structure, and hear the forklift sounds coming from everywhere. It was just 2 weeks before when I applied through the artificial intelligence-assisted hiring system, and within 30 minutes my phone rang, and I was invited to an interview the next day. The recruiter, Marcus, a 28-year-old man in a neat suit with hair slicked back with gel, painted such a picture for me that it felt like I had found a gold mine. Sitting in front of motivation posters hanging on the white walls of the meeting room, Marcus looked at me with bright eyes and said this: "Career ladders move very fast at Amazonia. You can rise to a Tier 3 position in 6 months, become a team lead within a year, and it is very likely that you will be in an area manager position after 2 years. Our internal promotion rate is 85%. We prefer not to hire anyone from outside. We are looking for university graduates like you, ambitious young talents." Actually, that moment I almost jumped in my chair. I had worked hard at university for 4 years, prepared reports through the nights, learned business theories, and tears of happiness gathered in my eyes when my family applauded me at the graduation ceremony. My father was a 62-year-old man tanned by the sun with calloused hands, working in a small repair shop in Tucson, a coastal town of Arizona, and he always told me this: "Son, you are the first university graduate in our family. Your hands will not be covered in oil and dirt like ours. You will work in offices, wear ties, manage people." And now here I was, in front of one of Amazonia's largest fulfillment centers in Phoenix, holding my newly purchased steel-toe work shoes, wearing the blue work shirt sent by the company, and my employee ID card hanging from my belt. The orientation on the first day lasted 3 hours. They took us to a large meeting hall, illuminated with fluorescent lights, where chairs were lined up in rows. There were 35 other people there with me. Some were young high school graduates. Some were middle-aged people whose life struggles you could read from their faces. And some were immigrants who spoke Spanish and barely understood English. The woman conducting the orientation was named Jennifer. This 40-something woman who wore glasses raised her voice like a megaphone and spoke in a robotic manner, explained company policies to us. Safety is more important than anything. Your rate, meaning your work speed, will be measured by your tasks per minute. Your TOT, meaning time off task, will be tracked minute by minute. Your UPT, meaning unpaid time off, is only 80 hours annually. Your PTO, meaning personal time off, starts at 48 hours, but you cannot use this in the first 3 months. My head was spinning. All these abbreviations, these rules, this system, felt like it came from another planet. Then they took us to the warehouse. When I stepped inside, my breath was taken away. The ceiling was so high that it felt like I was in a basketball arena. Yellow metal shelves, extending everywhere, rose all the way to the ceiling. Each shelf had thousands of products. Yellow boxers, orange labels, bark, que coisas. Conveyor belts extending along the floor were constantly moving, packages sliding from one place to another, robots moving between the shelves, forklifts carrying giant boxers, and the noise, that incredible noise, the squeaking of metal, the humming of conveyor motors, people shouting, siren sounds. When everything came together, it was like a giant factory orchestra. I was assigned my first position as a stower. A stower meant a person who places incoming products on shelves. The man conducting the training, Dave, a short, chubby, 45-year-old with thinning hair, showed me the tricks of the job. He handed me the handheld scanner device he was holding. This device was a heavy thing with a red plastic case, a scratched screen, and it had to be held constantly. Dave told me. So, like this. You will scan this box. The system will tell you which shelf to put it on. Then you will scan the shelf. Then you will place the box there, then move on to the next box. Your goal is 110 to 120 items per hour. When you cannot meet this, the system warns you. If you get too many warnings, you get coaching. Too much coaching means a write-up, meaning written warning. And after that, you get fired. On the first day, in the first hour, my arms started to hurt. The boxes were heavy, some 5 kilograms, some 15 kilograms. The shelves were very high. I had to use a ladder. The scanner kept slipping. Sometimes I could not scan. The system would freeze. Error messages would appear. The people working around me were moving like robots. Nobody was talking. Everyone was just grab, scan, place, repeat. Grab, scan, place, repeat. By the end of the first week, water had collected in my feet. My new work shoes were heavy because they were steel-toed and dug into my ankles. My back hurt because I was bending and standing up all day. My hands were starting to callous, but I kept telling myself, this is temporary. Marcus told me I can get promoted after 6 months. Then I will work at the desk, manage Peopli, my real career will begin. In the second week, I received my first coaching. The person giving the coaching was Tyler, a 26-year-old, thin, tall, pimple-faced young man who thought very highly of himself. Tyler had actually started as a storer just like me 6 months ago, but had been promoted quickly and become a tier 3. He took me to a small room, closed the door, and showed me the tablet screen. There were red and green bars on the screen. Tyler told me, look, your rate is very low. You are only placing 85 items per hour. The goal is 110. This is unacceptable. The system has flagged you. If we do not see improvement next week, we will have to take more serious steps. I asked him. But I just started. I am learning the system. Sometimes the scanner does not work. Sometimes the shelves are too far away. Sometimes heavy boxers come. Tyler answered with an angry expression on his face. These are excuses. Everyone works under the same conditions. Some people can place 150 items per hour. Why can you not? Maybe this job is not for you. At that moment, something broke inside me. My university diploma, my father's proud looks, the applause at the graduation ceremony, Marcus's promises, all of it suddenly seemed absurd. But I pulled myself together and said, I will improve. I will work harder. I will show you. In the third week, I got taught for going to the bathroom. Cheat me off task. The system was tracking my every move. When I made a scan with the scanner device, it recorded the time. When the next scan was delayed, the system calculated it. That day, after lunch, my stomach was upset. I had to go to the bathroom immediately. The bathrooms were in the farthest corner of the warehouse. Walking there took 5 minutes. Taking care of my needs, 5 minutes. Coming back, 5 minutes. A total of 15 minutes. When my evening shift ended, I saw a red warning on my screen. Taught detected 14 minutes. The next day, Tyler called me to the small room again. This time, he spoke more harshly. Where were you yesterday? Why were you off task for 14 minutes? I explained to him. I had to go to the bathroom. My stomach was upset. Tyler responded, you need to notify your manager before going to the bathroom. The system shows you went without permission. This is recorded as taught. If you have too much taught, you will be fired. I had to get permission even for the needs of the human body. This was absurd. In the fourth week, I met the area manager, Sarah, for the first time. Sarah was a 35-year-old woman with dark hair, always holding her tablet, walking fast, giving commands. One morning, during a shift, Sarah came to this section where I worked, walked between the shelves, watched people, took notes on her tablet screen. Then she came to me and said, you are the newly graduated college kid, right? The guy Marcus mentioned, I answered excitedly. Yes, I am Tyler. I graduated with a business administration degree. I want to evaluate career opportunities. Sarah looked at me with a slight smile, said, nice, but first you need to be successful here. Your rate is still low. You have been getting coaching for 3 weeks. Fix this first, then we will talk about promotion. Then she turned and left. That was it. No motivational speech, no career guidance, just numbers and performance. In the 5th week, I received a write-up, meaning a written warning. This was a serious situation. Tyler and Sarah together took me to the Human Resources office. There they gave me a form with writing and red letters. Official written warning. The form stated, the employee consistently fails to meet performance targets. Rate average is 25% low. Thought incidents are repeating. If improvement is not shown, final warning and then termination procedures will be initiated. They wanted me to sign. My hands were trembling. I asked, so will I not be given one more chance? Will I not be allowed to receive training? Sarah answered with a cold expression. You have already been given training. Now you need to apply it. The system is equal for everyone. We do not make emotional evaluations. We only look at data and performance. In the 6th week, peak season, meaning busy season preparations, began. In November and December, the number of orders tripled due to holiday shopping. Mandatory extra time was announced. Now, instead of working 10 hours a day, I had to work 11 hours. Some days I was required to come on Saturday. When I went home, I only ate and slept. My social life disappeared. My friends stopped calling me. My mother was crying on the phone. Son, I hear your voice so tired. This job is killing you. In the 7th week, I met a coworker. His name was Miguel. He was a 42-year-old father of 3 who had immigrated from Mexico. Brown-skinned, short, always smiling. Miguel told me in his Spanish-accented English. Amigo, you are so young and educated. Why are you here? I told him about Marcus's promises, my career plans. Miguel shook his head sadly. Amigo, I have been working here for 2 years. I am still in the same position. I have never been promoted. They told me the same things, but it was all lies. Here you are, only seen as a number. Not a human, a robot. In the 8th week, I started to see the truth. When I looked around, there were dozens of people like Miguel, people who had been doing the same job for years, never rising, victims of the system. One day, during break, I spoke with Patricia, a 48-year-old woman with graying hair and a bent back. Patricia told me, sweetie, I've been working here for 4 years. Do you know how many times I applied for Tier 3? 13 times. Rejected every time. Why? Because I cannot meet my rate. Why cannot I meet it? Because I am 50 years old and I cannot run as fast as 20-year-old kids anymore. In the 9th week, one day, during lunch break, sitting in the cafeteria, eating the food served on plastic plates, I saw Marcus from afar. He was walking with his suit, gelled hair, shiny shoes. He was talking to another group of newly hired people, and he was saying the same things. Fast promotion, career opportunities, promotion from within. The same lies, the same trap, the same selling of dreams. In the 10th week, I made my decision. I no longer wanted to be part of this system. What I learned at university was to manage people, develop strategies, create value. But here I was only seen as a number, a rate, a taught statistic. My father worked in a repair shop with his hands covered in oil, but he could talk to people, build relationships with his customers. He owned his work. I had become a cog in a giant machine. In the 11th week, I gave my resignation. Sarah did not even ask me why I was leaving. She just had me sign a form and said, you can meet with Human Resources for an exit interview. At Human Resources, they asked me standard questions. Were you satisfied with the job? How was your communication with your supervisor? What did you think of the company culture? I gave diplomatic answers to all of them because I knew that even if I told the truth, nothing would change. In the 12th week, it was my last day. I turned in my ID card, returned the scanner device, put my work shoes in their box. As I left the warehouse, I looked back one last time. Thousands of people were still working there. Robots were still turning. Conveyors were still moving. And new people were coming, just like I came, with the same dreams, the same hopes, the same deception. So like this. For 3 months, I saw the true face of Amazonia. The bright career promises, fast promotions, and opportunities for internal advancement described in the job interview were just deceptions. The truth is that in this massive system, employees are only seen as numbers, statistics. If you have also experienced something similar, send your story to the email address in the description. Remember, your voice must be heard.